Let me first start with our three returning veterans. Drew Barnes, MLA for Cypress, Medicine Hat. Woo! Rick Strangman, MLA for Drumheller, Stettler. Woo! Pat Steer, MLA Livingstone McLeod. Okay, so I can honestly say the reason I'm here is because of these three. Okay, so now from north to south, Tanny Yao, Fort McMurray Wood, Buffalo. Woo! Todd Lowen, Grand Prairie Smoky. Scott Sear, Bonnieville Cold Lake. David Hansen, Lac La Biche, St. Paul, Two Hills. Glenn Van Dyken, Barhead, Morinville, Westlock. Mark Smith, Drayton Valley, Devon. Ron Orr, Lacombe, Pinoca. Gonna have sore hands. Jason Nixon, Rimby, Rocky Mountain House, Sundre. All right, we have Don McIntyre, Innisfail, Seven Lake, my partner in energy. Nathan Cooper, Olds, Disbury, Three Hills, and he will join us tomorrow, but we'll clap for him anyway. Wes Taylor, Battle River, Wainwright. Angela Pitt, Airdrie. Prasad Panda, Calgary, Foothills. Derek Fildebrand, Strathmore Brooks. Wayne Anderson, Highwood. Yeah, hugs are later. Dave Schneider, Landslide Dave from Lilbo. Grant Hunter, Cardston, Tabor, Warner. And finally, I'm Leela Sheridan here, and I'm Chestermere Rockview. And this is my new family. And that leaves me with only one more MLA to hear from. Ladies and gentlemen, hands together for the leader of the official opposition, the leader of the Wildrose, Brian Jane.
We are at a critical moment in Alberta's history. We can no longer look backwards. It's time to look forward so we can rebuild our province. In our great history, Alberta has remained the best place to live in the world, and not because of our government, but because of our incredible people. And now it's time to come together to fight for the future of our province.
The Wildrose Party is not about one person. It's not about Brian Jean. It's not about any single MLA. It's about all Alberta.
And it's about fighting for ideas and principles that we believe in. Ideas that we know will benefit all Albertans and secure our province's long-term prosperity.
And when you focus on principles and stick to those principles, you can accomplish great things.
Albertans are lining up behind the Wildrose like never before. They are looking at the direction the NDP is taking and are very worried. Albertans want individuals and leaders dedicated to making Alberta great and that will fight for our province.
And what is abundantly clear is that Albertans do not stand behind the NDP's risky agenda.
Calgarians said strongly in September they want leadership that focuses on jobs and focuses on our economy. Leadership that believes in Alberta. Leadership that isn't looking to tear them down, but wants to lift them up.
Tonight is an incredible step forward for the Wildrose. An incredible step forward for Alberta.
Since I was elected Wildrose leader on March 28th, I have seen every corner of our beautiful province. And coming from Fort McMurray, I know the challenges Alberta is facing firsthand. As a former logger, trapper, and living in the heart of the oil sands, I know what it will take to get Alberta working again. People want a government that is not about money spent, but is about people served.
Friends, the NDP plan is also simple. Higher taxes, higher spending, more wasteful spending, and more risky economic experiments.
As Conservatives, we know what has and what will once again make our province successful. Free enterprise, low taxes, strong families, and of course, the Alberta Advantage. Albertans are not looking for the same tired ideas and people who have led us into division. They are looking for the right people, the right ideas, and the right principles to come together to put Alberta back on the right track. I know together we can take Alberta to a place even greater than we can possibly imagine. With your help, Wildrose will take us there.
Thank you so much. Please sit down, please. This is my humbled look, and I am very humbled, very proud. Thank you. No pressure, right? Well, I really do appreciate your great reception of me, and I will hopefully not disappoint you. I have to tell you, I'm so happy to see here tonight everybody. My friends, my family, so many familiar faces. I'm very proud to be the leader of the Wildrose Party. And I'm very proud to have these 21 friends here to support me to drive forward your agenda. Friends, before we begin, let's remember to send our prayers and thoughts to those who lost their lives in Paris today, and to all the hostages or all the people that have felt this tremendously bad and evil thing. As Canadians and Albertans, we want to stand tall with our friends in France and right across the world we will always stand firm and strong against evil. Now, I have spent the last 2 weeks at the legislature trying to talk sense into the NDP. Let me tell you, it's good to be home amongst common sense people. I'm happy to be here. I do have some important thoughts I want to share with you tonight. Very important in my mind. A great beginning, because conservatism in Alberta has entered what I believe to be a very critical stage. And I'm going to challenge you to think of new ways about the future of our party. But before I do that, I want to take us back almost a year and talk about December 17th, 2014 to be precise. It was a day that I'm going to leave in the history, but let's remember what it was. It was a day I'm sure everybody in this room will remember for a very, very long time. It was, in my view, the day a gang of unprincipled opportunists, spellbound by the promise of easy political power, tried to drive a stake through the heart of this party and this movement and every single person who has worked so hard to build it. Now, in the days and weeks that followed, we learned that many people thought they had succeeded. Wildrose is dead, proclaimed a former MLA for Battle River Wainwright. By the way, we have that seat now. In fact, a political scientist that is very political apparently, told everybody that we were destined to be social credit 2.0. One newspaper columnist even predicted, and I quote, "The days of the Wildrose being an effective opposition are over," end quote. Now, they were wrong. The politicians were wrong. The pundits were wrong. They all were wrong. They got it wrong. And why? Well, I'll tell you, they fell for the idea that Wildrose was one person, or perhaps a handful of people. That once the elected faces of the party threw in the towel, it was only going to be a matter of time before the party itself would wither away. Well, what they didn't understand is this. Leaders come and leaders go, but values, principles, and ideas, they endure. Wildrose always has been, is now, bigger than any one person. It's bigger than me. It's even bigger than any one of these MLAs on the stage with me. It's bigger than our executive committee members. It is bigger than any government that we may form in the years to come. Wildrose is quite simply the strong, beating heart of the conservative movement in Alberta, and it belongs to all of us. That, my friends, is the bedrock truth that holds all of this together, that holds us all together as a family. We serve a movement of people who want to see this great province move forward according to a coherent set of values and principles. And those who forget that, they don't have any place here. Who didn't forget that? Rick Strankman didn't forget that. Pat Steer didn't forget that. Heather Forsyth. Shane Saskew. And of course, Drew Barnes. He didn't forget that. None of them forgot that because they didn't forget you. That's why. They said no when Jim Prentice came calling. They weren't fooled by the easy scent of political power that encaptured all people. They had a choice. They made the right choice. They had the choice of joining the power seekers and bolt or stay and work harder than ever before. They chose us. They chose all of this when they could have chosen themselves. That, my friends, is what this party and the future of Alberta is all about. Now, in all sports, we have to take a victory lap because we had a victory. Let's look at where we are today. Together we have defied the critics, and I have to tell you, there is nothing sweeter than doing what everybody said could not be done.
Hear, hear.
Am I right? I'm right. We went into the 2015 election with 3 returning MLAs, and if you were to believe the pundits, barely a pulse. We came out with 21 MLAs, our best showing ever, and the largest official opposition in a generation. And 2 months ago, we added 1 more MLA for good measure. You've built this. You did. And we've got MLAs from the far north to the deep south, east to Saskatchewan from the BC border, and in towns and cities of all sizes right across this province. By the way, the next time someone says that Wildrose can't win in the big cities, tell them to take it up with Prasad Panda. Indeed, we have come an awfully long way in a very short time, and I could not be more humbled and grateful for the courage, the passion, and the dedication of the people in this room that brought us here today. Thank you so much. But building on what we've accomplished so far this year will depend a great deal on what we do in the next few months. Let me explain what I mean. Shortly after becoming leader, I was made aware of a mission statement of our party that they once had under a previous leadership. It simply stated, and I quote, "to form government," unquote. I got to tell you, I suppose you have to admire it. It's pretty brief. It fits nicely on some letterhead. Might be good for a couple other things, but when your singular purpose for existing is to win, you will do anything to win. We've all been witness to what happens when that kind of selfish, power-hungry ambition takes hold inside of a party. It ends in disaster. Now, don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I want to win. I think everybody in here wants to win. But let me be perfectly clear. If winning just for the sake of winning is why you're here, you're in the wrong party, folks.
Hear, hear.
The question Conservatives in Alberta must confront is why? Why do we want to win? Well, in Wildrose, we want to win and form a majority government so that we can implement our policies and govern according to our principles for the benefit of all Albertans. That's the important part. We don't want to win just to get into power. We want to win to implement conservative policies and to govern according to conservative principles so that everyone can benefit. That is what Conservatives should strive for. That's what we MLAs here at the front need to strive for, but that's what all of you need to strive for to support us as we support you. We will work hard and we will do what we need to do to win, to implement the policies and priorities that you give to us. And when I say Conservatives, I do mean all Conservatives. There's a phrase that springs to mind whenever we start talking about the future of conservatism, whether it be here or in the federal level. I'm sure that everyone in the room has heard it. You may have even used it from time to time. Unite the right. Now, truthfully, that phrase has always bugged me. And it hasn't bugged me, well, it's bugged me because I do believe in unity. I truly do. I believe and know from experience that conservatives are stronger and our cause is far more powerful when we work together to achieve common goals. It bugs me because I think it's lacking. The term the right, it's pretty vague. I prefer to be more precise. It's not just about uniting the right. It's about uniting the right people. It's about uniting the right ideas. And it's about uniting the right mix of both to put forward a consolidated conservative coalition that is capable of winning the hearts and the minds of Albertans. What could be more important than that? To win the hearts and minds of Albertans with great policy. Now, the events of the last decade or so have caused the conservative movement in Alberta to become fractured, to split into two parties. And the events of the last year have thrust one of those parties into a very, very difficult situation. Yes, that's right. The future of the Progressive Conservative Association of Alberta is in doubt. Now, I understand how you feel, because after the fierce and at times hurtful partisan battles of the past few years, many people in the room tonight, myself included, sometimes feel like I should be inclined to celebrate this. But I'm choosing to look at it a bit differently. The truth is, there is a whole bunch of good conservatives in this province who today don't believe they have a viable political home. They know their old party is dying or dead, but they don't think they are welcome here. Now, I'm talking specifically about the men and women and young people who spend their evenings and weekends knocking on doors, picking up phones, stuffing envelopes, pounding lawn signs, drafting policies, holding constituency meetings, and generally engaging in the democratic process. The kind of people who give of themselves to make politics work for good. People who are just like all of you in this room. Please give yourselves a hand. You deserve it. Now, having these good people sidelined, or worse, completely disinterested from politics, is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. It's not a good thing for democracy, and it's certainly not a good thing for conservatism. We need these people, friends. We need their hearts. We need their talent. We need their willingness to help and their belief in our great province. I truly think together we need to do more to welcome them and to bring them into a Wildrose party that can be a home for them. That's because the world has changed. Alberta has been jolted into cold reality. We're bleeding jobs, at least 65,000 so far this year. That's about 1,500 lost jobs every week. Home builders are bracing for at least a 20% drop in housing starts. My hometown of Fort McMurray has at least a 9% vacancy rate, and it's climbing quickly. Building permits, manufacturing sales, real estate transactions, motor vehicle sales, and business confidence all are down from where they were a year ago by at least 10%. You name the indicator. The arrows are all pointing down, and Albertans are worried. We are worried. Most of this is because of global economic forces beyond our control. We are, in many ways, a province still at the mercy of the price of oil, but this isn't the first time oil prices have dropped, and it won't be the last. You know as well as I do that Alberta has long been able to weather these periodic economic storms because we have kept our fundamentals strong. We have maintained low business and personal taxes, an attractive investment climate, and competitive royalty rates throughout the peaks and valleys of our energy economy. And we've always made it to the other side stronger and more prosperous than we were before. But something is different this time. Something is different. Instead of encouraging the private sector as a cushion to the blow, as responsible governments do when confronted with hard times, this NDP government seems to want to intensify the hard times. We're just 6 months into the life of Rachel Notley's government, and we're already seeing the worst of the NDP economic policies. Her NDP government has done what every NDP government everywhere has ever done: raise taxes. They've raised taxes on everyone, raised personal income taxes, business taxes, and taxes on dividends. They've raised the carbon tax and the minimum wage. Today in Toronto, she mentioned she's going to raise taxes again. They're going to raise gasoline taxes, and energy royalties are going up. Very troubling. And for the first time in a generation, we will need to borrow to pay for the day-to-day operations of government. The day-to-day operations. That means borrowing to pay for programs and the salaries of government workers.
Borrowing for transfer payments.
We'll get to that. We have a government that is absolutely bloated and underperforming in every matrix. A government that costs more than governments cost in other provinces, but delivers poor services on almost all fronts. The NDP don't want to fix this government. They want to expand it and grow its impact on our economy and our day-to-day lives. By the time the next election rolls around, the NDP's fascination with an even bigger public sector will mean that Alberta will have more than $50 billion in debt and likely much more. Very troubling. Future generations will suffer the pain for correcting those mistakes. But we will also suffer pain now. At a time when they can afford it the least, the NDP is going after those who the province needs the most. The people who pay taxes, generate jobs, and create opportunity. Say what you want about past PC governments. I've heard it all. That was a joke. But friends, they understood that the private sector was the solution and not the problem. The NDP feels much differently. They are not fans of the private sector. They are of the public sector. Theirs is an agenda driven by an ideology that lacks a basic understanding of economic reality, and it's the exact opposite of what our province needs right now. This is what I'm talking about, friends. With the PCs in power, Wildrose was the principal check on a wayward dynasty. Sometimes we'd have to nudge them a bit, other times we'd have to drag them, but eventually, when their members quietly told them Wildrose was right, the PCs would come around and do the right thing. Common sense would prevail. With the NDP, we're up against a government to which economic reason and logic do not appeal. We can yell, we can scream, we can jump up and down. They just aren't interested. In a situation like this, the only thing we can do is defeat them in the next general election. And to do that, we're going to need as much help as we can get. We can no longer afford to have any Conservatives sitting on the sidelines. We're going to need to unite the right people, to bring together a broad team of the right people who are committed to the right ideas. By that same token, friends, we have to be careful. We do. We have to discern. Because there will be the wrong people. There will be those who will view a united Conservative movement not as the best way to get Alberta back on track, but as their personal one-way ticket to power, or more accurately, their one-way ticket back to power. As I said before, power for the sake of power is not what this party is about, nor under my leadership will it ever be about that. And I'll be honest with you, as all of you in the room applaud that, recognize this, that Albertans are not wanting that either. Albertans want a different government. They aren't stupid. They can spot ambition without principle. They can sense opportunism and entitlement. And voters won't put up with it. We saw what they did in the last provincial election. Don't believe me? Well, none of the gang of defectors got reelected. Not one. So the people who ended up trying to destroy the Conservative movement in this province absolutely cannot be involved in building it back up again. Absolutely not. People that share no principles with us, who reject the right ideas, but who want to attach themselves to us as a pathway to power, those people are not the sort of people we want in the exercise of getting all Conservatives into our party for the future of Alberta. I prefer to do that with the people here in this room tonight. Yes, all of you here tonight. And with the thousands of Albertans just like us who aren't here tonight, but hopefully one day will be. The people who want nothing more than what is best for Alberta. And these are the same people that put their lives on the line to make sure that we will achieve it and make Alberta a much better place than it was before. So what's going to happen next? Here's the plain and honest truth. It's up to you. I do not have all the answers about the future of conservatism. I don't know what it's going to look like in Alberta some time from now, or what exactly it will take to get us there. That's up to all Conservatives to decide. Truly, that's up to you, all of you, to decide. But I do commit this. I do commit that I will always make sure that you, the members of the Wildrose, are central to that decision. I believe in that process. I believe in you. And I've taken steps, and I will take more appropriate steps to ensure that Wildrose is in the driver's seat in this exercise. I promise. Ultimately, Wildrose members, not the leader, not the MLAs, not somebody sitting in an ivory tower someplace. It will be the members that decide our future. Just like I believe 100% today that it's the members of the Wildrose that will decide the future of Alberta. As I said, I made that commitment, and I've made that commitment to our MLAs who have made the same commitment, because we believe in our party. I believe in our party. I believe we have the potential to do great things for the people of Alberta and give them a government that they can and will believe in and trust. Whether or not we will is up to us. But I know this: Conservatives can't and shouldn't keep fighting each other. We should not. If we care more about grinding our axes and settling our scores than we do about advancing the Conservative values and principles we hold near and dear, we had better be prepared to sit on the sidelines while the NDP hold the field. Let me close by thanking each and every one of you for coming out this weekend and choosing to participate in the future of our party and our province. Democracy is so important. I do look forward to catching up with as many of you as I can and taking part in the debates and the conversations. It's going to be an exciting time. Wildrose remains the only party in Alberta, that is truly driven by its members. That is something that we should be very, very proud of. Every single one of us here tonight has a voice, a say in what our party stands for and where we will go from here. And we here on the stage tonight will protect that for you. We promise. I think right now I should say we're not going to raise your taxes, but I'm... I ask you, seriously, where do you want to go from here? 3 years from today, friends, we will be in the starting blocks of the next provincial election, waiting for the gun to go off. 3 years, that's it. On November 15th, 2018, we will be only 3 months away from the start of that campaign. What does Wildrose look like on that day? Are we still squabbling with old rivals? Holding on to old grudges and gatekeeping the entryway into our party? Or have we set all that aside and come together in purpose and principle to give Albertans a united Conservative choice and a hope for a better, more prosperous future? My friends, this is the choice before us, and the direction we choose to go from this day forward will determine which destination we ultimately arrive at. So I urge you, my fellow Wildrose members, to be welcoming. Reach out to those you might not have reached out to in the past. You might be surprised by the reaction. I think you will be. Forgiveness and redemption should always be available. Generosity of spirit is just what Alberta needs right now. Let Wildrose lead the way with a generous spirit. Let our party, Wildrose, be a home for all of Alberta's Conservatives, all the right people. All the right people, committed to the right ideas, working hard to bring the right principles into government for the benefit of all Albertans. We together owe it to Albertans to try. Let us all work together to unite the right people and the right ideas and give Albertans one right choice in the next election, Wildrose. Thank you.